the simple things. There was a real American dream. It was easier to attain.
Right, right. It was more tangible. It was more simple. Just get a job and get
Yeah.
a reasonably priced house. Yeah.
Well, they were all reasonable back then. My parents bought their house for 19,000 in
Nice.
1968. Yeah, 19,000, 1968.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey, right? In Newark, New Jersey.
Right. Okay.
The same house today is worth 250,000.
Wow. Wow. And that's pretty cheap.
Yes, it is.
Today's standards.
By today's standards, yes.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to 30, that same house will be worth 400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things get harder to attain, but you'll be all right. You'll be
Yeah.
all right because you
I
have the
will
right.
be all right. I'll be all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because lucky for you, you got that. You're gonna get that military GI Bill.
We'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell.
You
Yeah.
got Well, if you stay in 4 years, you get all the benefits.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
You
true.
get here to buy a house with no money down now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just need a job.
That's very true. Yeah, I guess if you put it that way, it's not that complicated. A simple life is a good life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that in the 70s, the government kind of made a mistake, and they realized that the middle class was actually a real middle class. And they didn't function. In today's time, they want to eliminate
Mhm.
the
Hi,
the
Basi. We know each other because he's my coach and I'm an athlete, a hunter. Yeah.
Oh, somebody asked the question.
Yeah, somebody asked a question. How do you know each other? And,
Okay.
and yeah, coach is a history teacher and I like history too. So every time we talk about things, it just naturally drifts towards history.
Okay, that could be one thing too, since you're seeing the questions and I'm not. Anytime there's a question that you think
Okay.
is relevant, then we can then by all means just let me know and
Yeah,
it can be answered.
that's perfect.
All right,
He's my cousin.
all right, we
I'm Basil Kennedy. Yeah, Basil Kennedy is watching, coach. Is he your cousin?
oh yeah, it's my cousin.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so he just asked that question, so I was just reading it out loud.
Yeah, because they have a podcast too, but on sports.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Okay.
All right, we ready?
Um, it's 7 now. Okay, I guess I can start the introduction.
Yeah.
Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Heng Zhu. Uh, Welcome to the Killers of the Past podcast. At this podcast, we will be discussing different dictators across history. With each episode about a specific dictator, so we can appreciate history more as a project, as a subject, and learn more to apply in the present. And I have with me my co-host Marvin Hawkins. Would you like to introduce yourself, Marvin Hawkins?
Yes, and you did a good job there just starting out. But yes, myself and Hengzi are very much are interested in discussing history. We always like to talk when we're on our way to track meets, and we kind of share a lot of the same views with different things. And our age difference makes it actually does make a difference. We're able to
It
bridge
does.
the gap.
It does.
But yes, um, to be a I mean, as a matter of fact, we even talk about the most times the killers of the past. To be a to be a dictator, you have to be a killer as well.
Right.
They,
Right. You have to be heartless.
they go hand in hand. So we're gonna discuss this very first dictator, um, Benito Mussolini.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give a quick introduction about who Benito Mussolini is. Benito Mussolini is the first dictator of the 20th century. of modern history. He was the dictator of Italy of the Kingdom of Italy from 1925 to 1945. Um, he was also known as the founder of fascism as an ideology. Um, yeah, and he was a collaborator with Adolf Hitler during the Second World War. Yeah, would you like to elaborate more on who Mussolini was?
Okay, I definitely can. But let's start with the definition of what a fascist is. A fascist, right, is basically a dictator. That's what they call a far right dictator. Um, they rule by violence. Violence is the key to their domination and the threat of violence as well. But Mussolini was a reckless political um, adventurer. He bluffed his way to power. He lacked courage and wisdom. He ruled for more than 20 years. And as Hensley just said, he was the first of the modern dictators. And he pictured himself as a Caesar, a modern day Caesar. He wanted to build a new Roman Empire.
Yeah, it was interesting how he came up to be the dictator of Italy. His title was El Duce, which means the leader in Italian. So he was originally a socialist.
Yep, that is correct. I was going to bring that point out too, because his father was a socialist,
Right,
and he joined the Socialist Party after he got out of school.
right.
Also, the one thing that dictators have in common, a lot of them, when they are in school, they usually tend to be very intelligent, but they also intend not to be, not to get along with people, and that's how he was. He was, he didn't get along with his teachers. He always got in trouble, and he did definitely didn't get along with his classmates as well.
Yeah, definitely. They usually tend to be agitators, uh, and you can see that from a very early age. Uh, yeah, and I think yeah after his education, he was a socialist, but at some point he fled to Switzerland to avoid the army draft. When the First World War started, Italy eventually joined the side of the Entente against Germany. So he fled to Switzerland and continued his socialist, yeah, movement.
But then now too, getting to the point that the fact that he was a coward. Um, he really tried to. He did what Hitler actually did. Um, He basically started a riot,
Yeah,
and he got actually. He was a very good speaker, which most of them are. Like for example, Cuba, the leader of Cuba. Um, we said Hitler was one. Um, those guys taught. I mean, what could speak very well. But the point is, he started. He basically started a revolution. But then, when people started to march toward the capital, he went into hiding,
yeah, yeah,
and, and then was shocked when the monarch put him in power.
yeah. Strange turn of events. Yeah,
Oh, most definitely,
yeah.
most definitely.
It's like not showing up to your own wedding, but you still got married anyways because the king
Yeah.
said so. Yeah,
But yes, with the thing too with people like him. Now, once he gets in power, or when actually once he got into power, he did he got rid of all opposition because fascists do not want labor unions.
hmm,
They don't want political parties either. They see them as a threat to
yeah,
their power.
yep,
But in this country, you know, people throw out all these terms of what people are, but they don't really know what they mean.
yeah.
But
That's very true.
but he had people killed that got in his way.
Yep.
which is
To eliminate the
which
opposition.
which is the point for all the dictators.
Yeah. And once he consolidated power via that kind of means, he was able to enact his changes, I guess. But those were very shallow, like any dictators. Like there was battle for the grains. There was a
Hmm.
drive to increase the agricultural output, which aligned with the fascist ideologies of family and the state, increasing birth and yeah, nuclear family values.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a good point you just brought up because he did like well. See, Hitler, as you know, admired Mussolini. Matter of fact, he visited Mussolini as soon as he
yep,
got into power,
yeah,
and he didn't really like him. He thought he looked at him as a clown.
yeah,
And that's so he thought Mussolini thought Hitler was a clown. But
yep,
the one thing he picked up is that Mussolini um, encouraged encouraged the people to produce children because you have
pollution, yeah,
because soldiers.
yeah, yeah, placing women in the subservient role. Yeah,
You know, this stuff is kind of starting to sound familiar,
it
but
does. Yeah, it does.
we're not
Anyways,
going to that.
yeah,
But
I'm not going to that. Um, and there was also the thing with the creation of the cult of personality around
right,
him as as the leader of Italy, but also like is also it also showed the adventurous side of him, like there was a propaganda campaign of him like doing an assortment of different jobs in the Italian insurgency, like him as a farmer, him as a fisherman, and then him as a pilot.
right.
Um, yeah,
But yeah, he liked to show that he was a man of that could do many
yes,
things.
yes, yeah,
Right, but yes, and then the people, he did have a cult of personality, and the people bought into it.
hmm,
Like
yeah,
again, like I said, he wanted to create a new Roman Empire. That's why
yeah,
he that's why he invaded the first country he invaded, I believe, was Ethiopia. It
yeah,
took
Ethiopia.
yeah, and it took him several months to take over a country that had no mechanized military. They were fighting them with basically spears and bows and arrows and rocks, and it took them a couple of months to take that. That doesn't bode too well. Doesn't
Yeah,
bode too well.
yeah, and it was the second time Italy tried invading Ethiopia. They tried before World War One, I believe,
Hmm.
which failed. Uh, yeah, which brings up a important point about the relationship between Mussolini and the Italian military. I think Italy was known for having very incompetent generals,
Right.
even though the Italian soldiers themselves fought very valiantly on an individual level. The lack of competency from the generals and Mussolini, whose job as a leader, other than being dictator, well, especially as dictator, is to oversight them, did not do a good job of. So I think he was also responsible for he was partially responsible for the incompetency of the Italian military. Yeah.
Yes. And his his being incompetent is part of the reason why Hitler lost the war in Russia because he had to bail Mussolini out several times.
Right.
Last time, Greece, and
Greece.
yes, and that delayed. Well, put it like this, as you already know, you're going to attack. People have tried to attack Russia forever.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't. If you don't get into Russia in the what's called, let's say in the spring, and
Spring.
before December, you're pretty
Yeah.
much not.
It's over. Yeah.
Nobody nobody beats the most famous general in Russia is General January and General February.
Where
You can't.
land becomes mud.
Oh yeah, you can't beat that. Put it like this: the Russian soldiers put snow to cover their ears because the snow is warmer than the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so Mussolini did help out in that sense, but Hitler,
I guess.
yeah, but Hitler had this. He just had this long affection for this man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. Especially, not only did he fail to invade Greece, he also failed the two fronts in Africa, in East Africa and Ethiopia, and in in the Battle of El Alamein, where he lost against the Allied forces. And even after Hitler sent Erwin Rommel and the Panzer Corps to North Africa, eventually they still lost Libya, which was controlled by Italy. And at the near the end of the war, when American forces and Allied landed in Italy, when they took Rome, Mussolini, he was in prison. He was in prison, I believe. But
Yes,
then he was able to be saved by Axis forces, and Hitler Hitler flew him back to Berlin,
yeah,
gave a talk to him, and had him reinstalled as leader, as the German Italian puppet of North Italy.
and that is correct. He was there until he was recaptured, but that we'll hold that to the end.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of his family life, he was not a very good
Oh
husband.
no.
He whoever he was associated with, he had no he liked to beat women. That
Yeah.
great great part of his personality.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and he had, of course, he had a wife and several mistresses. But that told you a lot about his character as well.
Yeah.
I also I sound familiar too with some, with some of our
That sounds really familiar. That sounds really familiar.
yes, yeah, but we're not going there yet.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll have to see.
Right,
Anyways, uh, yeah, very tumultuous family relationship, which he hid from the public. He always maintained the image that, oh, I'm the family man. I take care of my son and wife, even though that's really honestly the only times they see them, which is in public.
right.
So very neglectful father.
Most def most definitely. But but from a historical standpoint, as we're studying all these different leaders or dictators, most of them were not good people.
No,
They,
no,
you could say you could picture something that they did that was positive, but the negative overrode the positive.
exactly. That's the most important thing people need to understand about history. People are complicated. Although because history are often written by the winners, it's very easy to construct a narrative of history where it's black and white, that one person is inherently bad and one person is inherently good. But in reality, people are complicated. Mussolini, he might have done some good things. He might have helped increase Italy's economic productivity, and made the trains run on time. But the negatives outweigh the positive, as you said,
Right.
uh,
Well,
Coach Hawkins. Yeah.
the war that he started killed 500,000 of his own people.
World War II.
Yeah,
Wow.
half
Yeah.
of his own people, and
Wow. Yeah.
which which was unnecessary,
Yeah.
and killed about almost around 40,000 of the Africans
Yeah.
when he invaded.
Yeah.
So that would be an ultra. If he did anything good, that would definitely negate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely negate it.
That's why the people of Italy turned on him at the end of the war. Many mothers said, he killed my son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he definitely got what he deserved. That's for sure. You know, but okay, so that's an important thing. These guys rise to power, right?
Hmm.
They get in. Well, he was. Well, they get in. Once they get in power
Hmm.
and they become popular, at some point their popularity drops because they have another agenda. And unfortunately, his
Yeah.
agenda was war. If he didn't start the war, we probably would have a different conversation
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one thing about that particular time period is that, which is kind of similar to today's time period, history, I used to always teach history always repeats itself. All right, so in World War II, who did you have? You had you had Tojo in Japan. You had Mussolini in Italy. You had you had Hitler in Germany, and you had Stalin. And
Wow.
so, not that we're going to apply the same thing, but it's like no matter what time period you pick, there's always dictators, and they all have the same goal. Their goal is to um, really they want the whole thing. They want the whole planet. World War One was the battle for the planet.
Mm.
World War Two was even the same thing. It was the battle for the whole planet.
Mm.
So now,
Mm.
so think about it. Will there be a world? Would there be a World War Three?
I hope not.
Well, there's always someone, and I think even in today's time, we have people on the planet now that figure if they could find a way to take the whole planet without destroying it, they would do it.
A mass power. Yeah.
And here's the craziest part. Even if you go back as far as Napoleon, if you and Genghis Khan and all those
Mm.
guys, if I control the whole world, then guess what? Then there'll be peace.
Mm.
That's what they that's what they all say. There will be
Mm.
peace because there was one person in charge.
Wow.
But it's never worked out that way.
Promises of peace. Promises of peace. Wow.
Yes, what would it but look how many people were killed in World War II.
A lot. It was like 2% of the population, I believe, of the world population.
Well, depending on which historian you ask, it's between 60 to 70 million.
Yeah. 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 And the earth.
So
Yeah.
so if there was a World War III and now there's 8 billion people on the planet, you got to figure that there would be like let's say they would want to cut that down to at least half. So
Yeah.
4 billion would be gone right off the bat, which is insane.
It's insane. Yeah. How can you even exact that scale of mass murdering if nuclear arms are out of question?
Yes, but see, that's the other thing that we've learned also. Well, at least I know we've all learned if you study. The leaders of these countries, they don't look at they look at the people like we would look at a chicken.
Mm. Mm.
You know? What do we do with chickens? We slaughter them.
Yeah.
We eat them. They're not important,
Mm. Mm.
and they look at people like chickens. Now,
Yeah.
I I heard that quote from in let's call it the Alamo. Um, in the Alamo, Santa Ana, before
Santa Ana.
when he was invading um, the church at San Antonio,
Yep.
he said that his soldiers, he didn't care about the soldiers. He said his soldiers was like chickens. So what? So I throw 5,000 out there, a couple thousand die. So what? And that's how that's how a lot of the world leaders see us when it
Wow.
comes to war.
Wow.
Remember, old men make the war. Who fights it?
The young man.
There you go.
Wow. Wow.
There you,
That's really
that's
disturbing if you think about it.
yes, but it's also I think very much so. But it's just the way it is.
Wow. But they hide it so well. They hide it so well with all this political, ideological jargon. Wow.
Exactly.
It's starting to make sense now.
Oh well, as we go further into, because we have a lot of characters we can
Yeah.
that are intertwined. But
Mm.
but the thing is now, how did this guy begin to lose it?
Yeah.
All right, so now I can let me see what your opinion is in our last few minutes. How did
Well,
he get? What happened to him?
well, he was a coward to start with. I think he kind of uh, lost control of his own country in a way, because he joined the war with Germany after France fell, believing it was going to be a quick war.
Right.
He kind of gave his autonomy slash control away to Hitler. Um, and when the pressure started mounting in with Allied forces landing in Italy, I think he showed his true self. He's incompetent. When times gets tough, his incompetency caused a lot of damage and everything just fell apart. Yeah.
Right. So in other words, when you're winning wars, it's great.
It's easy. It's
Battles,
easy when you're on the winning
and
side.
you got the people on your side.
Yeah.
When you start losing,
It
and
takes real
yes,
leadership.
and people are losing their loved ones, and then now your country is getting invaded and destroyed because of something you started, then now people start thinking, hey, this isn't the guy. He he talked the he talked the good game, but then now but now I'm seeing my relatives is disappearing. So yeah,
Mm.
so yes, they yes, as you said earlier, he was captured, and then they shot him
Mhm.
and his
Yeah.
men, hung them
Yeah.
upside the town square, and they let all their frustrations out on his dead body.
Yeah. Wow. Poetic justice, right?
Well, it just goes to show you as we continue talking about different what happens to all of them in the end. Oh yeah, that's a nice picture right there. Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. His luckily his wife wasn't with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It was his mistress, you're
Yeah.
right.
Right.
So it was really poetic justice. Yeah.
Right. In the end, there's only one way that everything ends. Well, when you're a dictator, you
Yeah.
get you get the power, you got the money, you got everything that you think you have, but then you get greedy, don't know when to stop, and then bam, people will turn against you, and then you will get what you deserve.
You get what you pay for. When
Well,
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
how about that? That's a that's a good quote too.
Yeah.
Gotta keep. All right. Hey, it's been fun.
It's been fun, yeah.
All right. So our next person that we're gonna we're gonna have a lot with him.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll do some research. I've read a couple books about him already before, so yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I've done some research on him too, and I'll tell you, he would make Mussolini look like a choir boy.
Yeah, if Mao was the emperor of China, Mussolini was just a prince.
Uh,
Yeah,
I'm thinking more of he changed the He changed the bedpans for he would change the bedpans for the leaders that we're talking about
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
because he was clearly not a very strong leader,
Not competent. Yeah.
and he was a coward,
Yeah. Coward.
and he died a coward's death.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey,
You're right.
hey, you know what? You should go back to school and get that certification for history. You make a nice history professor.
Sure. Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, maybe some school will hire us, and then we can tag team.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'll look into it.
That would be
Yeah.
that would be definitely fun. But in any case,
Yeah.
you did very good today.
We did very good. Yeah. I'll save this video and then post it on the page.
Okay,
And you can share it with your friends.
all
Yeah.
right, beautiful, and thanks to all those people who came in
Yeah.
and asked questions. Feel free to ask if you guys have any suggestions from the audience. Feel free because there's a lot of people we can talk about, and we also won't leave the women out too. There were women dictators too, who were probably more ruthless than men.
Matriarchs, psychological.
Yes, well, I'm like this. The female warriors were just as tough as the male ones.
Yeah.
The women would be chopping off heads.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks again. I will see you
Monday.
Monday next time. All right. All right.
All right. Have a good night,
All right. You too.
coach. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye bye.